My name is Brian Dar, and I work for a company called Expium, and we are here to talk about Jira Service Desk. This is anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour, just kind of depends on how long we make it. We're not going to go too far into settings, but we are going to cover in pretty deep detail all of the user interfaces and the general features of Jira Service Desk. So let me give you a brief introduction to Expium. At Expium, we unify the Atlassian deployment across the enterprise. That means that our goal is to help you get the most out of your Jira and Atlassian products. So some of the stuff that we do here at Expium, we offer training, kind of like this one. This is just an introduction webinar though, but we have in-depth classes, including Jira Bootcamp, which is a 3-day intensive Jira administrative training class that we do publicly and privately, on-site and online. We also do deeper Jira Service Desk classes. We also do portfolio classes as well. Something else that we do is licensing. So if you need co-terming, if you need payment on terms, if you want anything other than the cash and carry model, we as an expert solution partner, we can help you with that. We also do consulting. So implementations, upgrades, migrations, customizations, we've done a lot of those for various clients. And finally, if you need any custom development work, such as add-ons, or a marketplace app, if you're interested in that, or just making Jira work a little bit better and faster for you, we can also do that because one of our sister companies is an Angular development shop. So we work together to make lots of custom add-ons. For example, I don't know if you've ever seen our visualizer for Jira, but it's pretty cool. Some companies that we've worked with, Google, Volkswagen, we actually built a custom UI to lay on top of Jira. They use Jira as a database for their prototype cars. So tracking everything that happens to those cars, we built a custom UI on top of that for them. IBM, Riverbed, NASA, First Republic Bank, and quite a few others. So let's dive into Jira Service Desk. Presumably you're all here to learn about how it can work for you and possibly some tips and tricks. So starting at the basics though, the reason that people want to use Jira Service Desk instead of Jira is because they want essentially an extra portal and a customer-facing view for their Jira instance. The big 6 things that you can do with Jira Service Desk, unlike other Jira projects, is you can support and track your clients external from Jira. You can connect internal and external knowledge bases for both your company employees and external clients. You can maintain service level agreements or SLAs. You can prioritize and manage requests through queues. It gives you a clean and very customizable portal, even more customizable if you run it on server instead of cloud. And you can automate repetitive tasks. Jira decided that they wanted to add a lot of the automation that clients were asking for into Jira Service Desk when they created it. So there's a lot of automation tools that you might find very useful for managing tickets that way. But instead of talking about it, let's just hop into the UI. So there are 3 ways to think about users in Jira Service Desk. There is the administrator, which is the same as a Jira administrator. They set up the projects, manage the projects, do all the back-end customizations. Then there's agents. Agents are the users that are going to work in the project itself, managing tickets. And then there are customers. So customers are not billable by Jira. You can have thousands of customers. Jira won't charge you a penny for any of them to access your portal. Agents, on the other hand, do cost money. And it's the same as any Jira license. You have to have a license for an agent to use the Service Desk features of a Service Desk project. You don't have to have a license, you don't have to have a separate license for anybody to view a Service Desk ticket, but if you're going to do any of the Service Desk-ish type things, you do need a special Service Desk license, and those do cost a bit more than regular Jira licenses. So again, there's administrators, they can customize workflows, they build out the projects. There's these agents who work in the project, manage tickets, and respond to customers. And then there's customers who can submit tickets via the portal. They can submit it via email, or they can also submit it via walking past the desk of an agent and saying, hey, submit a ticket for me, because the agent can also submit tickets on behalf of customers. So the trade-off again is you get thousands of free customers, but they can only interact via the portal that we're looking at right now. In addition to the customer portal, there's a few other reasons why you might want to use Jira Service Desk. One of them is queues. We use queues to manage all of our inquiries. We just find it easier to see them along with an SLA if we want to get back to them within a set amount of time that our company's agreed upon. Jira Service Desk provides that kind of support. Another reason that you might want to use Jira Service Desk is because you want basic issue automation. So essentially, queues, portal, automation, SLAs. Those are the reasons that you would want to use a Service Desk project instead of a software or a core project. And lots of companies are using Service Desk for internal IT service requests. They use it for external service desks like product support. They use it for incident reporting and change tracking. It actually comes with a couple of out-of-the-box workflows for those as well. Some of our clients are actually using it as a B2B self-service portal. So we have a large accounting firm that has their partners logging in and uploading documents via the portal as well. So that's sort of a customization that you can do with that. So let's stop and talk about the portal. The very first view, this is what your customer will see. So if you see up here, this is an Atlassian cloud link, anything that ends with Atlassian.net. And because it says portals, we know we're in the Help Center. The Help Center is a portal of portals. And when you go to the Help Center as a user, you can see any Service Desk project that you are allowed to see as a customer user. So in this case, in this demo instance that we've built, there's only one project that I, as a non-logged in anonymous user, can see, and that is this project, a product support project here. So again, here we are in the Help Center. The Help Center logo up here, I think I see somebody actually asked in questions, to get the color up here, that's just a setting that you can do it as an admin on the back end. We'll get to that in a little bit. But basically, the whole portal is highly customizable. What you see first here, though, is a search bar. So if I want to search for something like visualizer for Jira, I see all of my knowledge base connected articles that show up with that search topic. If I search for VPN, since I don't have anything connected with that, I'm not going to find anything. But this again, this is just a portal of portals. Up here, I can log in if I have a user created within the Jira database. But let's dive into an actual support project here, product support. In product support, you see a list of request types that I, as a user, can issue. So for example, if I need technical support, I'm going to click here, and I'm going to start writing, need help with visualizer for Jira. And you see already, Jira has decided that since I have a knowledge base connected to the Service Desk project, it's going to try to head off any tickets by showing up all this information on the right side. So if I didn't find it in search before, I'm going to find it now as I start filling out the ticket. And this is really good to keep your agents from being too busy with repeat tickets. And you can later on analyze article usage statistics to figure out which articles are getting the most views, which articles therefore are probably the most helpful. And you can also analyze your tickets later on to find out which tickets do we have a large number of that we don't have an article for, and you could create an article for that. So need help with visualizer for Jira, description, how do I use this product? It's a Jira component, and I'm going to give an email at xvm.com and create. So I have now created a ticket. I'm going to hop back to the Help Center. Now, again, because I am not a logged in user, I don't see a history of my tickets. But if you are logged in as either a customer or as a Jira user, Jira automatically ascribes all of your issued tickets to your user, and you can come find them up here. And we're going to look at that again in just a moment. So again, we have all of these request types here. This is all customizable in the back end. It's also translatable too, which is kind of a cool feature. So let's hop in. I'm going to come over here and log into this instance now as an agent, which I believe I can hit over here. Oh, no, sorry. We're going to log out. We're going to go to XPM, JSD demo, and elastic.net. I'm going to log in as Brian Dar agent because I want to show you the agent view. Use my old password. All right, so you can tell by my little avatar down here, the smiley face with the agent headset, that I am now an agent. So I'm going to hop into a project, which is my product support project. And now I'm going to hop back into the portal. Nope, just ignore that. I'm going to copy that, open a new tab, and go to my portal. So now you can see I'm logged in here as an agent. So let's put in another ticket. And submit. And right away, this is the view of a logged in user of a ticket that they have submitted. So what you see here, we are in the Help Center in the product support project, and this is the ticket number here. Here on the left side, we see an entire history of this ticket from the customer visible standpoint. If I had a comment, please help. That is now a publicly visible comment to anybody that has rights to view this issue in the portal. Also, obviously, behind the scenes for the Jira agents. So here we see a chronological order, newest on top of everything that ever happened to this ticket, including external comments and any status changes that happen. Over here, this is what I can see about the ticket and do as a customer. So right now, this is the customer visible status. This does not necessarily reflect the status internal to Jira. I can relabel that inside. It could say in progress on the back end, but to me, it says waiting for support. I can stop watching this issue. So every time this issue gets updated, currently, it has defined me as a watcher of this issue. And if you're used to Jira, you understand that watchers have certain notification permissions that will ping them whenever something updates on an issue, depending on your settings. So I can stop watching it here. I can share this issue with anybody else in my customer organization. And then here are status transitions that are available according to the workflow to me as a customer. So I can escalate the issue if I need to. I can resolve the issue, or I can cancel the request. Down here, I can see anybody that I have shared this with. So let's say that I want to share it with, if I want to share it with Brian admin, I can share this ticket with them as well. And because I'm an agent, I can hop right into the ticket here. Let's go back to the portal one more time and take a look at here, up here under my user picture. So I can see any request created by me. And here is a searchable list. You can do open requests versus closed requests. You can do ones created by me or ones that are shared with me. And you can do via request type as well. You can also do a text search. So if you're a user submitting a lot of tickets, this is a very useful screen for searching. If you're using Service Desk as an approval process, if you are added as an approver on an issue, you can log in here as well, and there will be something here saying approvals. And if you click on that, it'll send you to a text screen saying, we need your approval. Do you say yes or no to this? And then the workflow will decide what happens with that ticket once you as an approver approves or declines an issue. Approvers also do not need Jira licenses. They are just unpaid for customers. I do see a question online. Can you create a ticket via email? Yes, you can. Email ticket creation only goes to one issue type. And so if you open up creation by email, you're going to need to do some sort of agent triaging. You can parse the email text for certain information, but it's probably better just to have an agent do triaging. So that is everything from the customer viewpoint. Let's hop in now and look at it from the agent view. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything that I wanted to share with you here. All right. Oh, by the way, if you are a project administrator, you can actually start customizing the portal right from here. But obviously, since I am not a project administrator, I should not have those rights, and I clearly do not. All right, so let's take a quick walk through the Jira interface as seen by an agent. Over here, we have the Jira site level menu. This is the dark blue one over here. I can go up to my dashboard. I'm going to click back now. I can search for issues or filters or boards. I can create an issue right from here. Down here is my app switcher, so I can hop over to Jira or Confluence, depending on which app I'm in, and all my recent projects. And of course, down here is my profile and settings. The top level view in the project view, in the project menu, which you can see by this gray bar here, is queues. So let's start with queues. Jira Service Desk comes out of the box with a variety of queues made here, but your administrator can customize all of these queues. So let's look at all open. So all open right now, it shows us our time to resolution based on our SLAs. It shows us the issue type, which is slightly different than the request type. You can assign many request types to one issue type. So therefore, you can have many different request types show up and follow the same workflow and have the same fields. This is the internal status, waiting for support. This is the summary field. And then we have created and who the reporter was. So you can see here that we had an anonymous issue creation. This is one of the first tickets made, and that was made automatically by Jira Service Desk, telling us that we have enabled email requests. Also, if you have a due date for a request, you can put it here. So just out of the box, we've got a couple other ones. Unassigned, issues assigned to me. This is quite useful. This is based on the current user. So anybody logging into this project can view an issue based on that. These are not nested queues, by the way. This is just an icon or an ASCII character that somebody added to this particular queue title. And also issues resolved in the last 7 days. If you resolved an issue and it dropped out of the queues, it's a good idea to have this queue available so you can go find those old tickets rather easily. So as an agent, I'm going to live mostly within queues, taking care of triaging and taking care of responding to clients. So let's look into an issue itself. Here is my visualizer ticket that was created. So I can hop into it via the issue key here or via the summary. And let's walk through this particular view. So if you're used to Jira, a lot of this looks familiar. Some of it is a little bit different because it's a service desk project. Up here as an agent, I can edit the issue by clicking the edit key, and I can change any of the fields within the ticket. There's quite a few of them that we don't actually need to go through. I can comment on the issue up here or down here. I can assign the issue to myself or a coworker. So if I am a manager of a project, I can assign it to various agents. And you can also adjust that in your Jira settings, who can assign it and who can be assigned. This is kind of the same thing as comment, except this is an internal comment. This is an external comment. I'm sorry. No, actually, this is a status transition. My apologies. So if we look at the workflow for this particular issue type, here we are under waiting for support. And if I click respond to customer, it's going to open up a comment box asking me to send a message to the customer. All messages to customers are done via comments, internal or external comments. External comments go to the customers, internals just stay in the ticket. And it will automatically transition over here to this status. Here we see the issue type, the issue priority. You can set that in your settings. The components, the labels that your agents decide to add, the current status, and the resolution. Obviously, since this issue is open, it is unresolved. Here we can see that the information that I provided as a user landed here in the issue description. I can also add attachments. The customer can also add attachments to the portal as well, which is quite useful. Down here, we see knowledge base articles that are related to this request. So again, Jira is looking at the attached knowledge base and parsing all of my text fields to find out, oh, I see visualizer for Jira. Here's all of the articles here as well. So I, as an agent, can see this as well and share that knowledge base article as a comment. So for example, I could say, so this is actually a link. This is how it's created. And I can come here and I can say, please take a look at this article. And click here, share with the customer. I can also comment internally, but obviously this is something that I want to share. And there we go. You can also see a tag here on any of the comments, whether or not it was an internal one or if it was a comment made by the issue reporter. And there's some other history that you can see down here, but the comments are the most important for a Jira Service Desk project because that's where all of your attendee, all of your client interaction happens. Over here, we see our SLAs. This project is configured with 2 different SLAs. First one is time to first response. We met this SLA in about 11 minutes, I guess. And then we have time to resolution. And you can customize that, and we'll do that from the admin side in a little bit. Here's the assignee for the ticket. Here's the reporter. This is where I, as an agent, can also add request participants, so I can share this. A very useful feature of this is if you have a developer who is not in a Jira Service Desk license group, you can share this ticket with a developer and they can communicate with the client via the portal. So let's say that a bug ticket comes in via the portal. I know the developer that's working on it. I can share this ticket with the developer here and they can log into the portal themselves and chat back and forth with the client without needing a Jira Service Desk license. Comments are default. You know, it depends on the view you're on, in my experience. Let's find out. Let's just add a comment. And if I say Control-Enter, which is my default shortcut, that is an internal comment only. So I believe that the default is for internal. You cannot change it. It is only controllable down here via the buttons. So looking back over here with sharing requests, I can share it with other users in the database. A customer, by the way, is a user in Jira that has no application access. I can add the customer to any organizations. So essentially, you can group customers by organization, and you can do that within the project setup, which I'll go to in a moment. You can also vote on issues and watch issues. This is a basic Jira functionality. And finally, some more Service Desk request information. This is the request type that it came in as. I could always change it as an agent. The customer status, basically what the customer can see, which is not the same always as the actual status. How it came came through anonymously via the portal, when it was created, and when it was updated. So that's the basic issue view as an agent. Let's hop back here. Let's look at customers now. As an agent, I can add customers. Right now, I have Brian Admin and Brian Customer, who are both users within this project. If I want to add another customer, I can do so here via an email address, and it will send them a portal invitation. You can kind of add in bulk here as well. You could also work on connecting your Active Directory to add people just as users without application access, and that would effectively add everybody as a customer in a project. But that's some complicated stuff. We can't get into that just today. But if you want to add individuals or a whole string separated by commas, you can just bulk drop them in here, and you can add them to an organization if you've created one. Adding an organization is quite easy. Let's make one called New Group, create a new group, and add. So now, if I click on Brian Customer, oh, nope, that just takes me to his user profile. Sorry about that. Ah, that's right, I do it through organizations. So if I click on New Group, I can now add customers into that group. So if you want to group your various customers into groups, you can. It's up to you. Let's look at reports. Jira Service Desk comes with a lot of out-of-the-box reporting. So one of them is workload. So you can see how many tickets are assigned to each of your team members. These are all default users that are thanks to add-ons within Jira. But here we see nobody, either the admin nor the agent, has any tickets assigned to them right now. SLA goals. For all the SLAs that you have in this project, there will be a different section, kind of like this, for each of those SLAs. So currently, we have met all of our tickets time to first response goals. Congratulations to us, we're doing very good work. You can see the JQL, Jira Query Language filter here. So for bugs and high priorities, we have an SLA of 1 hour. It counts on a 9 to 5 standard calendar. For a bug and high priority, we have a 4-hour goal, 9 to 5 calendar. And for everything else, we have an 8-hour goal. Time to resolution, if we have the highest priority, it's a 4-hour goal. If it's technical support, 16 hours, and all remaining 24 hours. So obviously, this is very customizable. We have a question. If the question is submitted anonymously, is it possible to see the customer email? No, they have to submit their own email, but I believe that the portal will actually force you to add an email because it wants to communicate with you afterwards. Also, if you turn on anonymous access to one of your portals, it will add a honeypot field, which is essentially a hidden field that only bots will read and try to fill in. So it will deflect tickets like that. And there's also a reCAPTCHA, I believe, added to the portal as well for anonymous tickets. So you can rest assured that you won't get spammed through that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that, because it's been a while since I made anonymous tickets, but essentially it will force you to enter an email address so that you can follow up with that. But it won't tell you the username. I think if you click in the ticket, though, it should show you the email address. Satisfaction. So at the end of submitting a ticket, Jira will send out a satisfaction survey that you can turn on or off. And it will ask a simple question, how did we do? It'll give you a 5-star rating and a comment box. And you can customize the question as well. And you can turn off completely if you don't actually want satisfaction scores. But this will show you, based on whatever filter you select here, what the satisfaction was for each ticket. The knowledge base also comes with some built-in reporting. So request deflected versus request resolved. If you view an article as a customer and click, yes, this was helpful, that counts as a request deflected. And if you resolved, it's either that, or if you viewed it, it's a little fuzzy as to which falls into this. But essentially, this will give you statistics about how well your knowledge base articles are helping. And it also tells you, so down here we see resolved with an article, resolved without an article, and deflected in the portal. So I think actually resolved with an article is, I looked at it, I said it was useful, I didn't submit a ticket. Resolved without an article is obviously I didn't click that. And deflected in the portal, I think, is where somebody views, looks at an article, and they don't follow through with a ticket. Not totally sure about that. But basically, you can drill down and see which articles are helping the most. And you can also look at ones that are not resolved with an article and parse that for groups of ticket types and decide, oh, we should make an article on this. Next, we have a couple of custom reports. These are all out of the box, but you can make your own. So we have created versus resolved. This is how you track if your team is on task. So created comes up in red, and if you see the gap between created and resolved getting larger and larger over time, you know your team is falling farther and farther behind in accomplishing their goals. Time to resolution says how well are we meeting these goals, and essentially tells you average time to resolution. SLA met versus breached. You can see whenever you breach an SLA or whenever you meet an SLA. You can do it by date. You go over the past 2 weeks, etc. So it'll show you how well you're doing over the course of time. So your managers might find this particularly useful. This tracks all the different types of requests that we have. So we have technical support, licensing, and billing. This is all request types. And you can see how well that's stacking up next to each other. If you need to create a different request type, for example. And finally, bugs that people have submitted. But again, these are all customizable. Continuing through the UI, as an agent, if you want to raise a request on someone's behalf, you can do so right here. Just click on that, hops you right into the portal. I'm going to raise a request on behalf of my administrator, Ryan admin, and then I can go from there and make a ticket. So this is quite useful for those people that walk past your desk and say, hey, I need a mouse, can you get me one? And they go, yeah, let me open a ticket for you right now. Cancel that request and go back to the agent view. So you can raise a request right from there. You can search your attached knowledge base. So if I, as an agent, want to view an article before I help somebody, again, If I want to look up an article about Visualizer for Jira, I can hop right in here, and it will open the article here in this nice little viewpoint. If I have the rights to edit the page, because I am also a Confluence editor in that Confluence space, I can edit the page from here. And then here's the link for anybody that has the rights to view that directly in Confluence. So if you don't have the right to view something in Confluence, but you do have the right to view it in the portal through anonymous access, it will pop up in a screen here for you to view. And finally, I've got a quick reference for all of my customer channels here. So this is my customer portal. If I need to share that in an email, I can copy that link right away. Or this is the email address ascribed to this particular support project. And again, if I click on Visit the Portal, I'll hop right into it without even jumping out of my view. And it's very convenient and shows you the URL up here as well. I'll look for questions really quick. I'm going to cover that at the end. All right, so that is the view from an agent standpoint. Let's hop over to the administrator view and talk about things that I can customize as an administrator. So I've changed to an incognito view. I am now Brian Admin, not Brian Agent. And the first thing you'll notice that is different is that there's a lot more options over here. One of them is add an item. This is pretty standard for all project administrators in Jira. You can add quick references to everything over here. So for example, if I want to add a website like xpm.com for my agent's quick reference, I can add that right over here. Now if I hop back over to my agent side, my agent view, and I refresh, I should see that pop up in the main project. There we go. So now as an agent, I can be reminded of here's the link to our main website. Let's hop back over to the admin view. So as an admin, I can customize queues, which is a very powerful feature. So let's take a look at this all open. I'm going to come over here to this edit bar that I didn't have before. I can also delete it from here. Let's go ahead and edit the queue. First thing you see is I can do a basic Jira search for the types of issues that I want to show up. Or if I know JQL, Jira Query Language, I can hop over to the advanced view and see very specifically what I'm searching for. In this case, it is all unresolved issues, and the order is going to appear as time to resolution ascending. Excuse me. From here, I can also select which columns show up. I can also rearrange those columns as well, which is quite useful. And there's, of course, many, basically any field in Jira you can add as a column. So the assign to me queue, for example, as I mentioned before, it's based on current user. So if I edit and come here, you can see assignee is current user and resolution is unresolved. So this will show me all tickets, no matter who I am, logged in as an agent. And I do recommend setting up all of these based on current user, insofar as your project allows. But that way you have queues that are usable by anybody in the project. Let's hop down to customers. So one of the deep settings in Jira that you can do is you can prevent agents from adding organizations, but if you do, only administrators can do that now. And I, as a Jira administrator, still have this option here. For reports, now you can add a new report, in addition to all the ones that Jira comes out of the box with. So let's just call this new report 1. And if I edit this and add a series, I can run by any of my SLAs. I can run by any resolved issue. I can run by customer satisfaction ratings. So if I pick, for example, average time to resolution, and I want that to be red, and I can type in whatever search query I want that will show up and populate this report. So again, as an administrator, this is a very powerful feature. You can help all of your agents understand how well they're doing based on the reports that you make available to them in the UI. knowledge base over here, this is the same for the agent, but we're going to dive into being able to edit that knowledge base in a moment. Customer channels, that's the same for the admin. Invite team is a bit different. If you have anybody within Jira that has a Jira Service Desk license, you can invite them to come and join this particular project here. So that is a brief view of the admin side of things. Now let's go into the project setup. So because a project administrator in Jira can do so much with the project, in fact, much more than a software project, because a Jira Service Desk administrator is able to affect customer-facing things. So you want to be very careful as to who you make a project administrator with a Jira Service Desk project that faces customers. Internal projects, probably not such a big deal. This is the same for all project and Jira administrators up here, except for delete project, that's a Jira admin feature only. Issue types is also the same for software projects, there's nothing new there. But here we have all of these service desk specific information. So the first one we land on is request types. Everything you do here is reflected pretty much instantaneously in the portal. So be careful. Over here we have groups. So on the portal that I was on before, let me just go copy that portal link and open it up. Customer channel, copy, new tab, portal. So here we see live what I'm changing. Somebody asked earlier about being able to customize the portal. So here, as an administrator, or as anyone logged in that is able to add an announcement, I can add a help center announcement and also add links. So for example, if one of our products is down, I can deflect tickets by just logging in here and making an announcement. I can do that as an agent or as an admin. It depends on the settings for your particular instance. So if I come back into the settings of this particular project, you can see here I've got groups. Right now there's only one group called general, but if I add a group, new group 1, I can add request types into that group. So over here, let's go back to general. Oops. Why am I not in general? There we go. So let's say I want to add this improvement issue type to that group. I can add it to new group 1, and I want to take it out of the general group, but you can have it in multiple groups. I'm going to add suggest a new feature also over into that group. So now we hop back over to the portal. Oops. And refresh. And now you see we have general request types and new group 1. So you can customize this pretty deeply based on your needs for your clients. The other things you can do are pretty powerful. If you come into any one of these request types, you can assign which issue type and therefore which workflow and which fields are available for that issue type. You can dive into the fields themselves. You can set them as required or not required. This is the summary, so it's definitely required. But if I hide it and say, what is this request type? I don't remember what it was. Let's say this is a mouse support request type. I can hide it and set a default summary of mouse request. And so now the user doesn't have to enter a summary, they just have to enter a description. But if I don't like the name of description, I can change that too. Tell us more. So now in the portal, if I click on this particular request type, it will say tell us more. Hop over here. Let's come back and find out what that was. That was a licensing request. So if I come here and say licensing, oh, no, it was not a licensing request. Was it? No. I don't remember which one it was. Do you? No. Oh, maybe other questions. There we go. Yeah, so here you can see this is updated as well. And the summary field is now hidden. So back to editing fields. Let's hop down to other questions. So this is where you can add and remove fields. You can make them required or not. You can add field help. seriously tell us a lot more. And when I hop back over to that request type, and I refresh, and I start, and as soon as I enter that field, this little help dialog pops up, that says, please include a screenshot, please include date and time, please include operating system, etc. Under the workflow statuses, this is where I determine what is the customer visible workflow status. So you could have everything in between open and closed have different statuses for your internal users, but maybe you just want to name them all in progress for your external users. You can do that here. Over here, we have customer permissions. This is where you decide what access the customer has within your portal. So in this particular service desk project, I could say only customers that my team adds to this project can access, or anyone can. So if this were an IT service desk, obviously I would only want internal customers to be able to access that. I would click here, and then the portal would no longer be available for anonymous use. It wouldn't even show up. Here as well, you can control the way in which customers share requests. So one of them is by a drop-down menu you click. Another one is you have to know their email specifically. Another one is you start typing in and it will auto-fill in users. I spoke earlier about translation and language support. This one is particularly robust. Let's add a language that I know. Let's find German, add. And already you can see that because I have edited a couple of my fields on the portal, it's already telling me that 2 of these sections are not standard. We need you to come in and fix those languages. It also by default turns off translations on the portal because it wants you to review them first. Whatever the default languages of the user when they log into the portal, that is what they will see here. Then we have our portal settings. So you can change the name of the portal. You can change the introduction text. You can add a logo per portal as opposed to the entire help center. And here you see only Jira administrators can add announcements to this particular portal. But probably for a product support one, you might want the agents to be able to add the announcement instead because you want them to be able to fully deflect tickets. And adding an announcement is a great way to deflect tickets. Email requests, this is where you can add a custom email address versus whatever one comes out of the box. Customer notifications, this is all very deep, but this essentially decides how you want your customers to be emailed at various points in the process of the ticket lifecycle. There's a widget that comes with Service Desk, and what it does is it creates, basically you add a snippet of JavaScript into whatever web page you have, and that JavaScript snippet will create a little help widget down here, much like you've probably seen on many modern websites. Some of them use like a chat function down here. And this little widget that appears on your homepage, for example, will allow you to create a request. It'll give you the default request type here, or you can have them search all request types from there. They can also search the knowledge base from there if you turn that on as well. So that's quite useful. And actually, Jira Service Desk is going to be coming out with a chat feature as well. That's coming around the corner. Here's where you control your satisfaction settings. You can change the question that goes out, or you can turn it off altogether. This is where you connect your knowledge base. So do you want to link to a Confluence knowledge base or not? Which one do you want to link to? And then down here, you can really drill into the what pages show up for what searches. So if I'm on a technical support, I can restrict the search within that issue type or within that request type only to certain labeled pages within Confluence. So you can really refine your search to make it more effective for your users over time. Moving down to SLAs. This is where you create and edit all of your SLAs. You can also create and edit calendars. So here we see sample 9 to 5 calendar, but you could come to calendars and you could add a calendar and you could make it a 24-hour calendar if you'd like. And then you would adjust the times here from 000 to 23:59, save, and then you have a 24-hour calendar built for issues that really matter. This is how you define your SLAs, and this is how you define your goals. Finally, you can add issue automation down here. There's a couple out-of-the-box ones that come with various projects. One of them is this comment updates reply status. So as you build the automation, it'll say if the user's a customer and if the status is currently in waiting for customer, and if the user adds a comment, automatically transition the issue over to waiting for support. You can also add certain notification automations here. You can also connect this to a development project. So let's say you have an outage, and even though you added a banner on your portal, people are still submitting tickets about that outage. Well, let's say that you have a project over here that's internal that is tracking that. You can set up an automation rule that says that whenever this issue over here gets resolved, all of these issues resolve themselves with a comment. And then all your agents have to do is just link those issues together as they come in. They don't even have to respond. And then once that resolves itself, everyone gets notified, less work for everybody around. So that is a very, very brief overview of what Jira Service Desk does. Obviously, within an hour, leaving time for Q&A, we can't go very, very far into like how to set it up or really, really specific suggestions. We do have a 4-hour class later this week. It's called Succeed with Jira Service Desk. That's where we dive into setting up schemes and permissions and workflows and all the details of a Jira Service Desk project. So if you're interested in that, xpm.com has, if you come over here and click on training and Jira Service Desk, you can sign up for a class over here if you're interested.